want to a little bit go to talk about the history that not many people know about Megillah Esther.
For Mussar?
What?
Speaking about Mussar?
No, he says he's not here, he just came to.
Better one part.
No. Good. I know he's a rabbi, so he can't do it.
Okay.
Rabbi.
Sorry. I'll go follow.
Good. So, I want to speak about the history of Megillah Esther, very important people to know, and I want to come out of it a very Mussar, strong Mussar message for ourselves. If you look about the history of Megillah Esther, what happened here? There was a prophecy that 70 years, Jeremiah and others, that the Jewish people would go to exile for 70 years. Again, 70 sabbatical years, etc. Now, everybody around the world knew about this prophecy. They knew about the prophecy of Jeremiah. The Goy knew too. The Goy knew too. The Gemara says in the Megillah, the Goy knew too. So Nebuchadnezzar, he was afraid. Wait a second, it says that Babylon will have 70 years. The Jewish people will have 70 years of going back. He destroyed the temple. So like this, the Gemara says like this. There was a guy named, I'm going to say a little bit of history in short, and we'll explain what I want to get to. The first temple was built for 410 years. The first temple was destroyed in 3,000 year 3,340. 3,338. Okay? 3,338 from the time of creation, that's the date of destruction of the second temple. 38, okay? 38. 3,338. The year 38. In the year 20, which is 18 years before, there was a king named Joachim. And Nebuchadnezzar came. This is 19 years before the destruction. 19 years. Nebuchadnezzar came. And he took for exile a group of Jews from Judah to Babylon. The king Joachim. Jehoiakim. That's his name. 7 years later, the king himself was sent to Babylon, and he died on the way.
What?
He died on the way. The year 327. 327, the son of Joachim, Yechaniah, became a king for 3 months. And after 3 months, Nebuchadnezzar came back and he conquered Yerushalayim, and he sent away Yechaniah together with Mordechai. Mordechai Yehudi, Asher Gla, Mimei Yechaniah, Melech Yudo. Yechaniah was the son of Joachim. Okay? So we have Joachim in the year 3,320. He gets conquered, and all the Jews, a lot of the Jews of Jerusalem, will be sent away. He himself being sent 7 years later, and he dies on the way. 3 months, his son is reigned in Yerushalayim, Yechoniah, and Nebuchadnezzar conquers him, and he takes with him 40,000 Jews together with Mordechai. Mordechai Yehudi and Harash HaMazgar and some others. He takes them all the way to Babylon. This is the year 3,327. 10,000 Jews, not 10,000 Jews together with Mordechai, Harash HaMazgar. Okay. 11 years later, Yerushalayim still has a king, Tzidkiyahu. A year, 11 years later, Nebuchadnezzar comes and he destroys the Beis HaMikdash. Okay? So between the first exile, we have now 3 exiles. We have the first exile in the year 3,320 of Jehoiakim. We have second exile, 2,327. And we have a third exile by Tzidkiyahu when we have the destruction of the first temple. 3,343. 38. 3,338. Okay? There was a king, Belshazzar. Who is Belshazzar? Belshazzar was the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar dies. He has a son, Evil Moradach. He becomes a king for 23 years. And he appointed Yoachim to become a king. And afterwards, his son Belshazzar became a king for 3 years, cut 3 years, which was about could be 1 year and a half. But a little bit of 1 year, 1 full year in the middle, another part of the year second. 3 years Makutaot. So now he becomes a king, and he realized, wait a second. Hashem told Yirmiyahu that the kingdom of Babel will be for 70 years. But I see that our kingdom is much more. He thought that the 70 years start from the exile of Yoachim, 3,320. 3,320, now Belshazzar is 3,386. From 20 to 86, how many years is that?
20 to 86.
Okay. 3,389. 89. Belshazzar says, oh, now 70 years pass, is 90. So from 20 to 90 is 70 years. And the end of that year, part of that year is the end of 70 years. He says, oh, Hashem did not destroy our kingdom. He makes a big feast. He takes out all the vessels of Beis Hamikdash to make a big feast. And at that moment he does that, he gets killed by Daryevash, the king of Persia, of Madai, and he becomes the king. His son, Daryevash's son, becomes the king also very short time, and his grandson Achashverosh becomes the king. And that's where Megillas Esther comes. Achashverosh reigned for 14 years. Okay? So what happened here? Achashverosh says, oh, Belshazzar made a mistake. He counted from the time of Yoachim. No. It doesn't say when the kingdom of Babylon is be finished, it must be the exile of Babylon, which is 8 years later, in the year 3027. But he also made a mistake, and really was 70 years from the destruction of the temple, which is 11 years later. This is what happened. So Achashverosh dies. He has a son Koresh, which is the son of a Jewish mother, Esther, and he became a king. You know how old he was? He was 7 years old. And when he was 9 years old, he ordered what? Daryovesh Hasheni. No, they're not Koresh. Daryovesh Hasheni. He was the son of Mordechai and Esther, and he was 7 years old, became a king. When he's 9 years old, he orders to build the Beis Hamikdash, and he built. This is what it says. But 18 years before, the Koresh, which is the son of the first Daryevash that killed the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar Belshazzar, he gives an order to build a temple, because he thinks 7 years passed. After 7 years from the second exile, not Yoachim, rather Yechaniah. But the son of Haman, one of the son of Haman, his name is Shimshi ben Haman, stops the building of the Beis Hamikdash and is delayed 18 years. And only after the death of Achashverosh, when his son, second Daryevash, gives the order, when he's 9 years old, they build the temple, and that's 70 years after the destruction of the temple. This is the story of the Megillah. Okay? This is the story. So what happened here? This is the message I want to give today. We know, the Gemara says many times, woe to those people that calculate the end of times. What happened here? Each king calculated, and he was wrong. He did mistakes, and he got killed. It didn't help him. They didn't read the text properly. And when the text came properly, it happened. We know the same thing. Hashem told Avraham Avinu that your descendants will go to exile for 430 years. They didn't know how to count it, but in the end, Hashem made a miracle, chesed, and it started in the beginning, the birth of Yitzchak. Okay? So I want to give another explanation of this concept of, I want to say two things. One is the concept that the Torah was given in 70 ways. Shivim Panim LaTorah, 70 ways of the Torah. So I saw my father, bless his memory, one of the Shiur which is not printed, but it's been written down, prepared for the next Sefer, Be'ez Hashem. He explained, he brought Yaakov Shimoni, that what does it mean the 70 ways of the Torah? The Torah wrote, the Torah is written like a riddle. It looks like unclear. But in a way, the reason the Torah was written in such a way that each generations, according to the actions, according to the midos, according to what they need, and according to the Chachmei Ador, the rabbis of that generation, they will read the Torah in such a way that they understand this is what Torah is saying. And since Hashem, the Torah is Hashem's wisdom, it's above time and place. So we don't see it. The Hashem wrote it in that combination. And it really, and although it depends on our actions, the generation of the Rambam read the Torah that she's married, blah, 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 blah. And the Rambam says, no, Tema cannot be, you have to be Bezana. Each generation, according to the Chachmei Ador, read the Torah that way. And it's written in a way that you can read both ways. And each generation proved that this is the true way, and that's a revelation of that moment of the Rabbi of that time. And that's the truth of the Torah. Because Hashem is above all. But we also say in history, when in a way of the history of the world, when God preordained the history of the world in the book of Daniel, etc., here 70 years in the prophecy of Jeremiah, all those preordained prophecies was for a reason. That really depends on our actions. Really, if the Jewish people were righteous enough, what the Nebuchadnezzar really originally calculated could have been done. We would be able to go out of exile right then. And if it didn't work down then, the second exile would work for the second time. When actually the first Koresh, the son of Belshazzar, said, oh, let's build the Beis HaMikdash. And they went to build it, and Shimshi, the son of Haman, stopped it, and they had to wait for another 18 years. It could have been done if the Jewish people had the right mirror. It could be done then. When the Nehemiah went up there, and he had to, because they stopped building it, they had to return back. And they stayed in Mordechai, because of that, stayed in Babylon for another 18 years. Until the whole story of the Megillah happened. If it was Mordechai was in Israel, he wasn't able to change the Jewish people in Babylon. So all that, so wait a second. What Hashem meant? Originally Hashem meant the way, what happened here? The answer is, the goal, the reason the Torah, when you read this to you, Rabbi Eliyahu, you got to say, why Hashem is writing the future story unclear? You look at what I get in the 70 and a half, what? Talk straight. So I would say, okay, talk straight, because I will reveal you to you straight. So then what? So then people won't have any hope. Let's say I'm far away from it, I lose hope. That's one svara. But now we're saying another svara. Second svara is not because people will lose hope. It's to give people hope. To tell you that once there's a possibility to read this combination, if you follow Hashem's words, it will happen. Has the potential to happen. And it was written in such a way unclear that you have a lot of solutions. It can happen such a thing. That's what Yeshiva put in the Torah. It depends on our actions and our deeds. How it will happen, how it will play a role. So every time when I see an option, okay, maybe Mashiach is coming now, I'm all excited. I'm all excited. So is it this way, it's not this way, that way. It depends on our action. So why Hashem wrote it? Hashem wrote it to tell you it's preordained, to give you the strength that I'm running the dice that is timing. Can happen by force, have time, but really it's a combination of our action with those times that it was written in a combination that depends on us and our actions. So in a way it's giving us hope, but in a way it's a set time. It's a combination of that's a shivim purim. This is one point I want to talk. The second point I want to message, let's talk about a very important point is that you cannot be wiser than Hashem. If you look in the Megillah, all what Aman tried to do, it worked against him. He complained against Vashti to kill Vashti. He thought his daughter would be taken. That itself killed him because Esther came and she killed him. He created a big tree. Everybody see 50 amos, 25 meters tall. It's a giant wood tree. Giant wood to hang someone. 25 meters, about 10-story building. Yeah. It's a giant. Everybody, the whole city of Shushan were able to see it. So what he created himself, so Havana came to him, and then he was angry, he hung them on that. So whatever he planned and he thought went against him. So now we see another point of opposite of the dice. So not only when Hashem writes something in the Torah, depends, he writes it in a way that can be many options, depends on our actions. Whatever a person does, if he's wicked, he can never run away from his death and his falling, his punishment. Whatever he does, it won't help. He will do this way and Hashem will turn it the other way. Whatever he tries to turn it, will turn against it. Because Hashem runs the world. So you cannot really laugh. There's a story of the Gemara, there was two scribers of Shlomo HaMelech. They were black people. They were black. We spoke about it a few times. They were dark people, black people from Africa. And they heard the Malach HaMoah says they're going to die. They're going to die. So they came to Shlomo HaMelech, Shlomo, we're going to die, help us. Shlomo says, okay, I'm going to say God's name, I'm a foichosh, and I'm going to fly you directly to a city named Luz. In the city of Luz, people don't die. They don't lie and they don't die. So he said, Hashem, I'm foolish, and they flew there. When they came to the entrance of the city of Luz, Malach HaMoah was standing there. Thank you, Shlomo HaMelech. He brought to them quicker. Thank you very much. I have to take them away. So the Gemara says, what do you see from that? The Gemara brings a statement that you cannot run away from your death. And this is the same point. Is whatever Ahmed was doing, and he has a whole thing in this world, and his wickedness he's doing, he's planning, he's tricking Hashem. He's going this, I'll do this, and he's all planning to destroy. Whatever he was planning worked against him. If he didn't plan, it didn't work against him. Esther wouldn't come. So Rabbi, his thinking that he's doing and he's planning against, without his planning against, it happened for the benefit of the good. That's why Purim is not focused, it's opposite. It's to know that really Hashem controls everything. Hashem controls our destination. The whole story of the Megillah, being a Beis Hamikdash depends on our action of tshuva. We do tshuva, we connect to Hashem. Hashem can bring the Mashiach right now. How it fits in the Pesukim, you read Daniel, don't worry. What happened, you can fix it, it works inside. Depends on you. It can work inside. Ask the God, will show you how it works inside. The 70 and the cut and the half and the cut, it works inside. But if you think that if you do something it would work because of you doing, you're stupid. Look at Haman, whatever he did, and he thought because that he's putting down, that put him down. So Hashem controls the world, totally, it's nothing in your hands. It's totally Hashem. And that's a secret why we drink in Purim. This is Rabbi Yoshua. You know why we drink in Purim? Rabbi Yoshua. Why not you? Why we drink in Purim? That's a trick. You think they're not talking about me. I really am talking to everybody else. Okay. So what is the nafachu? The nafachu is the drink, I'm all mixed up. I'm moving around. I can't see straight anymore. Where straight is left, where left, everything is God. So what am I doing? I just need the will of Hashem, that's all. Nothing else. You think you're doing you, there's nothing else. Only Hashem. Good Shabbos.